Hi, I'm Maria Lloyd with the Your Black World Network, as well as Your Black Women and idadaily.com. And today I'm having a really interesting conversation with a gentleman named Philip Smith. Mr. Smith is actually the founder and president of the National African American Gun Association. So I'm not going to kind of go into it yet. I'm going to have him explain what this organization is and its significance. So, Philip, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us or joining me. Now, could you kind of give our viewers an explanation or an idea of what the National African American Gun Association is and why it was created?
Sure, sure. The National African American Gun Association, otherwise known as NAG, NAG, was founded in 2015 in honor of Black History Month. The organization has really one primary goal, and that is for African American men and women and some youth if they would like to get involved with guns, to learn what a gun is, what it does do, what it doesn't do, how to shoot, get educational training, get educational continuing education on the gun itself, so they can become very very comfortable with the gun in times of a robbery or something like that. Because prior to me starting the organization, there was nothing there like that for us,
Right.
except for the NRA and some other large organizations. And I think our journey has been very, very different from any other ethnic group in the United States, from the coming to the U.S. with the Black codes, slavery, the continual fight that we have with some of the social issues, police brutality, our population just really at times getting attacked by a number of different areas from society. So having a gun club to me is a natural maturation process for the African American community. For me, I think we should be the biggest advocates of having a gun of any ethnic group on the planet, because I think we've been attacked more than any other ethnic group on the planet. And I'm not saying that in a very negative way, but very positive, because I mean, I think you can have guns and be positive about it, and you can have guns and be very negative and very intimidating. And I think our organization is very middle of the road. We're not to the left, we're not to the right. We have people from every walk of life, and that's the attraction. We try to attract everyone that's interested seeing firearms from an African American perspective, and that's what we've tried to do so far. And we've done a great job. We have a lot of interest, and we're growing on a daily basis.
Wow, that's amazing. So, before we started, you were telling me about the membership, kind of going through the membership numbers. So you started out with just
Yeah.
a few hundred people as of February of last year. And by the way, happy anniversary to this,
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
organization. And now you said you guys are up into the thousands. So within a
Yeah.
year, you've already,
Yes.
wow, that's
It's been
incredible.
amazing. It's been a great ride. I mean, I initially started. I didn't think. I'll be honest. I didn't think it would take off the way it has. Within our first 3 months, we had about 200 people. I was just kind of looking at the numbers, and then it just jumped, and it has grown exponentially from no. And get this, there's no advertisement at all. It's just by word of mouth. The
Wow.
membership is free for anyone to join, and we looked at our demographics, and we're really, when I say we, because it's a group of us now
Right.
that I'm the president of. We have 60% women, African American women in our group. 80, 80, 90%, 80, 85% African American total membership, 10% white,
Hmm.
a strong showing of military and law enforcement as well. But it's a good blend of folks. We have liberals, we have conservative, we have some great arguments. Because we're not here to everyone to sound alike. We're here to have different views and
Right.
everyone to respect that view. Because at the end of the day, as I tell everyone, it's better to just say we agree to disagree, as opposed to trying to get some consensus or some
Exactly.
type of agreement. Because sometimes people have a view that they're not going to change, and I'm not trying to change them. But we have a really good diverse group.
Wow, that's amazing. Incredible growth within a year time span and no advertisement. That is very
No,
impressive. I
not
didn't
at
know
all.
that.
Not at all.
Wow. So I can't even imagine once, from this video and other, mechanisms you may use to put the word out there. I can't imagine how quickly the organization will just continue to expand from here. So as we kind of touch on political affiliations,
Yeah.
as you know, last month, President Obama made an announcement that he would basically have an executive order for gun control. And
Right.
so, of course, there are a lot of opinions about it. You have those on the right who feel like he's punishing legal gun owners, and then you have those on the left who are, chanting and rooting him on and saying this is long overdue.
Right.
Where kind of where do you think Black Americans should stand on, when it comes to this?
I don't. I'm not going to try to speak for all African Americans, but I'm going to speak
From
from my
your
heart
point,
as an
okay,
African American male. I understand the symbolism what he's trying to do.
okay,
The gun violence, I am with him 110%. Enough is enough. But I actually think the proposed measures are they wouldn't have they would have not helped anything in terms of stopping any of the violence that he's been talking about.
mm-hmm.
What needs to be done, I think, is more diligent community based operations in terms of getting the culture that we have of violence, not necessarily gun violence, but having those individuals that have the mindset or the mental illness issues addressed. Because you can take a spoon, you can kill two people. You're not going to ban spoons.
Right,
And that's my perspective. Obviously, I'm very biased.
right.
Um, I voted for Obama twice, but I disagree completely with what he did with the gun measures or the proposed gun measures. I just don't think an executive order with the background checks will really change anything. So
Yeah, that's
that's my
very
perspective.
interesting that you said that. One of my concerns, because I also consider myself to be a gun advocate, and
Right,
one of my concerns was, when we're talking about proposing this background check,
right.
like you said, the symbolism, I mean, yeah, it makes sense, right? It seems very practical, but I was actually looking at it from a financial standpoint as well. I mean, what organization or organizations are going to be responsible for the background checks, and why them? How are we selecting these companies? Are they going to be private companies? Is it going to be government? I mean, I was looking at the more or less the logistics. It just doesn't, I don't know. I'm just curious to know, like, where the money trail will go, if you will.
Well, I think and you bring up a good point. I personally think there's going to be kind of a financial wall put in terms of in front of you when you want to buy a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be put out there because they don't. When I say they, those people out there that
Right.
want you to have a gun, they're going to make it more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
They won't say you can have a gun, but to buy the gun, you're going to have to pay $150 in this or $100 in this. Go to
Yes.
20 hours of classes this time instead of 16.
Right.
Plus, you have to go through background checks, and you have to fold your hands and jump on one leg. Then we'll give you the gun. I don't think any of that's going to make a difference because, as you and I both know, well, I can't speak for you. I'll speak for myself. When criminals wants to get a gun, a criminal's going to get a gun. There's nothing you can do or say about it. You can have every type of law in the world, but if they make their connections, they're going to have their AK-47 or whatever they have, and they're going to go ahead and do their dirt.
Mm-hmm.
So the only person that's going to be at the disadvantaged perspective is the gun owner or
Mm-hmm.
someone trying to get a gun because they
Mm-hmm.
have to go through hoops, whereas someone who's doing something illegally can quickly get a hold of a gun. That's going to be to their advantage and your disadvantage.
Right. So I'm going to kind of segue into Black America's relationship historically with guns. Now, I
Right.
am a proud member of NAG, so I get the newsletters, and they're
Okay. Great.
very
Great.
informative. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. So could
Right.
you kind of brush us up, excuse me, historically on how guns have actually helped Black Americans? And you could just give
Well,
a
I
couple of
think that
examples.
yeah. I mean, we came here as slaves.
Right.
Let's be upfront about that. But from that point, it's been a fight. And if you look at the '60s, the first really relevant organization that really had guns were the Deacons of Defense out of Louisiana. And they were an organized group of ex-vets, African American from the Korean War, that really came together to fight the Klan in their local areas. And they had, I think, at the height of their popularity, 4 or 5 different chapters in different
Mm-hmm.
states. So we do have a history of protecting ourselves with guns. But what has been twisted around has been the quote unquote nonviolent approach. And that has kind of circumvented and really taken over the narrative or the social narrative for that matter when it comes to guns in African American history. Because most people that are younger, I'm not gonna say my age, but I'm up there, think that we've always been nonviolent in our approach when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to protecting ourselves, and that's not the case.
Right.
Ida B. Wells and a lot of other African Americans historically, including Frederick Douglass, believed that having a firearm was a good thing. It was the only thing sometimes that protected you from getting yourself lynched.
Right.
So the process from growing to go from slavery to owning guns for self-defense to the black codes being implemented to where we are now, it's been a long and very tortuous road. Sometimes you'll take 2 steps forward and get pushed back 10 steps. So I think what needs to happen moving forward, we need to, in terms of the history of guns in the African American community, we need to read about how we got to this point.
Right.
Because the maturation process for African Americans is very, very different when you look how we got to this point. Because most folks, if you say gun in a black community, let's face it, it's it's kind of viewed in a negative manner.
It is. That's
And you have
true.
to really clarify. Well, I'm not a gangbanger. I'm not
Right.
to the far right. I just want a gun to protect myself at home. Like you have a gun.
Right.
When you close your door at night at 2 in the morning, somebody comes in, you're going to defend yourself. It's no guarantee that you're going to defend yourself, but you need to be able to allow to do that.
Absolutely.
And that's all we're trying to talk about, and that's all the history. If you look at the history of African Americans and guns, that's the whole process of trying to get to this point has been. We're trying to fight to have a gun.
I love it. I love it. So, Philip, does your organization have any like live events or anything like that that people can participate in?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay.
We're almost getting to that point. We have 4 chapters, 2 in Ohio and 2 in New Jersey.
Okay.
Each chapter, is just to let you know, is named after a prominent African American member historically.
Nice.
And we have an interest group in LA and an interest group in Florida as well. So
Okay.
we're growing very, very well. We're still in our infant stages, but let's face it, a year old.
Right.
But we've done great things in 1 year. We've got 4 corporate sponsors in that year: Ammo Land, Red Eye Tactical, and we have 2 others that are coming on board. So we've done very, very good. I mean, I can't believe it, and what's happening in terms of the actual activity that and the interest. Because let's face it, when corporations look at you, they're saying, "Hey, this group of people, they can bring dollars to our bottom line because
Right.
they're going to be buying guns."
Exactly.
So when a corporate person signs on to our group, they're saying, "You know what? These people are going to be buying guns, and let's be a part of that revenue." So that's something very good.
Wow. So if someone wants to join NAG, could you go ahead and walk them through the process? And also, if someone wants to contact you directly with any questions, how can we do that as well?
Sure, sure. The contact is very easy. Just go, and my email is NAAGAGUN, NAGAGUN@gmail.com. It'll come directly to me. And if you go to our website, which is www.naaga.co, not cm.co, it kind of throws people off sometimes. It'll take you directly to our website. And to join is free. There's no charge at this time. Anyone can join anywhere in the U.S. In fact, we have members outside of the U.S. in Ghana, Asia, and Europe. So,
Wow.
and quite a few from South Africa, believe it or not. But
Oh,
anyway,
that's awesome.
it is free for anyone to join. And that's one of the big attractions that I really wanted to implement initially in the first year or so. I wanted to make it as easy as possible for African Americans to join, because typically that price barrier, that $5 or $10 a year, can make or break someone saying, "You know what, I just may not want to join right now." So especially a new organization. So right now we're free. It's free, and I encourage everyone to join, especially the African American women out there that are contemplating. I'm thinking about buying a gun,
Right.
and I just don't know. This is the place to go to get information. You can connect with other women, and that's our next step. We're going to have some all women chapters coming up. There's a lot of interest there, to be honest with you. So please join, and definitely we'd love to chat and hopefully get your interest up there.
Perfect. Well, I would actually like to bring you back so that we can get more into some specifics with regard to gun ownership, like, just
Okay.
basic tips. How do you conceal a weapon when you have children, or just anything, whatever tips
Sure.
you can offer. So I definitely want to bring you back. And I think you did give the audience your email address. You sure did. You did that initially. So
Yeah, it's NAAGAGUN
okay.
at gmail.com, nagagun@gmail.com.
Perfect. And is there a Facebook page at all?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So they
Go,
just type in.
Go on Facebook, put in NAGA, will pop up, and we have a full page. A lot of folks are on there, so very easy to find.
Okay, excellent. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. And like I said, I definitely look forward to bringing you back so we can kind of get more into some of the specifics with regard to gun ownership and just basic uses for it and so on and so forth. And for you guys who are tuning in, thank you so much for watching this video. As Philip mentioned, he's giving you the information for you to check out the organization. I am a proud member of it. And again, I've gotten a slew of great newsletters with some really good historical references to Black Americans and guns. So I've actually learned quite a bit as a result of joining this organization. It is free as of now. And so I strongly encourage you guys to go ahead and take advantage of it and enroll. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you again soon.